Ooh, the Jets are getting feisty with the media this week. Plus, we have all the latest, another twisting spin in the Davante Adams sweepstakes. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul Austin Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your friggin' podcast, people. So let's get into it here, and welcome to everybody. Make sure you like the video, hit subscribe as soon as you walk in the door. We appreciate it. At the start of business here today, we were 16 subscribers, away from 7,000 subscribers, which is great. Shout out to NY Flight Jets Talk checking in from London. It's 12:30 over here. A more reasonable time, perhaps, for some Boy Green Daily listeners over there in London. And shout out to a lot of people that made the trip. I saw Jake Asman and a bunch of other commenters and everything else. So shout out to Connor Long, who was out there on Friday. Before we get into my Allen Lazard thing, and we will, I promise, but Ian Rappaport tweeted out a Davante Adams update at 5:30 in the morning local time here. So I think we should give you the latest on that situation. So here is all the latest. I've got good news, I've got bad news, and I've just got news. Take it for what you will. Here's the latest. This is from Ian Rappaport this morning with the latest update. The good news. If Davante Adams gets his wish, he will be traded to the Jets. He wants to be traded to the Jets. That's great news, Jet fans. He wants to be here. But the problem is, apparently, Davante Adams is not doing so. Like when Aaron Rodgers wanted to be a Jet, you see it in my intro video, right? He says, my intention is to play for the Jets. So basically, he tells the Packers, hey, Jets are bust, buddy. That's where I want to go. And then that's where eventually we got. However, Davante isn't saying Jets are bust. He says he wants to be traded to the Jets, but actually he has a long laundry list of teams that he'd be okay going to. And Ian Rappaport has uncovered all of the teams that are in or on the list per se for Davante Adams. And they are as follows in no particular order: the Saints, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Bills, the Cowboys, and the 49ers. Now, these teams aren't necessarily in on Davante. They're just on Davante's list. For instance, the Cowboys. Multiple Cowboys insiders have already said the Cowboys are out of the Davante Adams sweepstakes. Maybe they can re-enter them, but they're out of them, that they're not interested. So, like, the Cowboys are out, but they're on his list. So, just as an example. And, boy, just a quick timeout. This is incredibly scary. So, he wants to play for the Jets. That's great. But that he'd be willing to play for this long-ass list of teams. The Jets better move quickly here. But also, you don't want to pay too much. But also, you don't want to miss out on Davante. So it kind of goes a little back and forth. So that's a long list of teams. Here's something else from Ian Rappaport. A couple more bullet points, and we'll get to my Allen Lazard headline here. Quote, nothing currently has come close to happening, and no trade is expected at least until next week at the earliest, sources say. Part of that, by the way, is while teams have discussed, this is more quotes directly from Ian Rappaport, while teams have discussed potential deals, there likely won't be any official offers until Adams' hamstring is healthy enough for him to play. Apparently, that is a real injury for old Davante, and he's expected to be ready to go next week. So he's not going to play in the game this week against the Broncos, according to insiders, and his hamstring should be healthy enough to go the following week. Remember, NFL players are paid on a week-to-week basis. They get weekly game checks. In this particular case, Davante's making somewhere in the ballpark of $900,000 per game. Well, the Jets or any team don't want to trade for Davante and pay an extra game check they don't have to. Those guys are cheap bastards. They don't want to spend any more than they have to. So keep hamstring Davante Adams and the Raiders for another week, and then we'll figure it out the following week. That's basically the gist. The Raiders plan on taking, quote, the best deal from the highest bidder. So if it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders, if they have the best deal, they're going to send him there. Now, I hear Rappaport saying that. That's his insider nugget. again, with Davante Adams' contract, he holds some power because teams will be limited on how much they will give up if Davante refuses to rework his contract or sign a long-term deal or work it in any way. So I think Davante has a little bit of power there. He does not have a no-trade clause. That's worth mentioning. Quote, the Raiders are looking for at least a second-round pick as compensation for Adams. That's directly from Rappaport, excuse me. Although we've heard all kinds of things. Third-round pick, second-round pick, fourth-round pick is a Keenan Allen. So, sure, they want blah, but they may get blee. So we'll keep an eye on that. Anywho, I have a full points to articulate about Allen Lazard here, which we're about to get into. But I wanted to give you guys the latest on the Davante Adams situation. Sounds like it's a trade that will happen at the earliest next week. So the Jets will be safely back from London at that point. And then we can roll up our sleeves and see what's going to happen. See if the Jets could get Davante Adams before the Week 6 Buffalo Bills Monday Night Football game. That'd be a juicy story. But again, he wants to play for the Jets, but he isn't demanding a trade exclusively to the Jets. He has a list of teams he'd be open to: Saints, Steelers, Ravens, Bills, Cowboys, 49ers in no particular order. Those are teams that are on his wish list of teams he'd be cool playing with and being traded to. Again, nothing has come close to happening via trade. No trade is expected until next week at the earliest. The Raiders will take the best deal from the highest bidder. And while teams have discussed deals, because of the hamstring thing, they're not going to trade for him, it sounds like, this week again. Beautiful. All right, with all that being said, let's get right into it here with the Allen Lazard story. We got 300 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Allen Lazard was speaking with the media yesterday, and he got a little feisty. Hopefully you can hear the media question. It's kind of a media scrum, so it might be difficult to hear, but you'll clearly hear Allen Lazard's response. And the question is basically this, just in case you can't hear it, that the media member says, wow, so we're 4 weeks through the season. What is your offensive identity? Have you found it after 4 weeks of the season? Here's Allen Lazard. Feisty.
We're figuring it out, I don't think like I said earlier, we haven't reached our full potential. I think once we reach our full potential is when we find our true identity, and it's something that we can lean on consistently. But it's a work in progress, and it's a long season. It's only 4 games into it, and so you guys can panic, you guys can twist people's comments and make them bigger than what they really are and everything. But the bond in this locker room, the bond that we have as a team in this organization is, it's a lot stronger than whatever words or headlines you guys want to make out of it.
Oh, baby. If we want to twist our words and make headlines, our bond is strong. It's way stronger than what you guys are writing in the headlines. Okay. Now, obviously, maybe not so obviously, that's why I'm here, Allen Lazard is not the only one who got into it with the media. Robert Saleh yesterday, he was asked about the, quote, cadence thing. We'll reverse tell that story in a second, but we'll give you the latest first. And Saleh responded, there's no cadence issue. There's never been a cadence issue. That was created. And he kind of looks around the room. Cough, cough, the media is what he believes that cadencing was. And what was that cadence thing? Well, of course, after the Denver Broncos game, Robert Saleh was asked about the penalties, and he said, quote, we have it here. I don't have the full article written, so you guys can read this in a little bit, but Robert Saleh said after the game that maybe we're not good enough or ready to handle all the cadence. That's what Robert Saleh said immediately after the game, which, of course, was fed right into Aaron Rodgers' comments where they asked him, hey, Saleh said maybe you guys should cut back on the cadence. And then Rodgers says, or maybe we should hold players accountable. And then all of a sudden there started being some juice and people going, oh, maybe that Saleh-Rodgers push was more than we thought. And now it's kind of spun out of control. And so Rodgers seems a little pissed off. Saleh seems pissed off. Allen Lazard seems pissed off. And then perhaps the creme de la creme, if you guys did not see this, Rich Cimini. Let's go over to Rich real quick because the other big one with media versus Jets player was the Garrett Wilson story. It was the old Garrett Wilson story. So Garrett Wilson joins Bart and Hahn. That is Alan Hahn and Bart Scott, former Jets player. They do radio conversations together on a week-to-week basis, and Ritsamini didn't play the video. He just had the written word, the quote on Twitter. Here's what Ritsamini said, verbatim tweet. Quote, interesting comment from Garrett Wilson on Barton Hahn. Obviously, he's frustrated by his slow start on the Jets' offensive identity. Here's the quote that Ritsamini provided. I don't think we do a lot of different stuff, to be honest. I watch football on Sundays. I see a lot of teams mix it up and stuff like that. I don't think we do that. I think we know our identity. It's just about going out and executing it or figuring it out if it's going to work. I don't think we're trying a lot of different things. I know personally my route tree hasn't been what it has been the last 2 years as far as the stuff I've been running. It's just about figuring out if it's the right identity and whether it's going to win games, end quote. That went viral. Garrett Wilson responded to Ritsamini on Twitter and included the video clip and said, hey, just so you know, I didn't just comment this, quote unquote. It was my answer to this strung out question. So that's where Saleh came in yesterday and said, I'm glad he added context to it. So anywho, long story short, here's kind of my vibe. Here's my sense of hearing players, hearing coaches on the team. The Jets are embracing an us against the world / media mentality. It's interesting. Will it work? I don't know. We'll see the results on Sunday. But the team seems genuinely pissed off. That's the vibes the last 36 hours. Not just about the Broncos' loss, which obviously it still pains all of us, but specifically the coaches, the players, kind of the vibe coming off of the game. He said it is us against the world. The media are trying to twist our words. They're trying to make it seem like we're not a good, chemistry and team and this or that or the other. I'll be curious to see what it means. Do the Jets play with extra fire and turn it around? Do they stink again and then the flames are even more intense and heat and conversation? Perhaps. I don't know. But it is kind of interesting. By the way, let me make sure I flip on the switch. We're 18 members away from MFC getting his emoji, baby. So let's keep those going. You join the Boy Green Coffee Club. That is currently the pinned comment on YouTube, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. You join the Boy Green Coffee Club there or in the YouTube description down below. It's only $2.99 a month to help support the show. We're live every single day and also multiple times some days. Like today at 3 o'clock, we'll have a Vikings insider on the show to help preview the London matchup, baby, which I'm very much looking forward to. That should be a good conversation coming up in just a little bit. So they're feisty. They're angry. I see someone commented earlier, what was feisty about that? Well, I would say, because I have the written quote here, so I don't have to just play Allen Lazard again. Different strokes, different folks, but you guys can paint it. You guys can twist people's comments and make them bigger than they really are and everything. The bond in this locker room, the bond that we have as a team in this organization is a lot stronger than whatever words or headlines you guys are going to make out of it. That sounds pretty feisty to me, but you know what? Different strokes. Some people can look at something and call it this. Some people can look at something and call it that. If you don't think that's feisty, I think you're an idiot. So, yeah, that's my perspective. But hey, everyone's got different perspectives. To me, that's feisty. To me, Saleh was feisty. To me, Garrett Wilson was feisty. Everyone's feisty, which, by the way, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It doesn't have to have negative connotation that it's feisty. It's like interesting. Like, ooh, okay. It seems to get under their skin a little bit. It certainly did for Saleh, certainly did for Rodgers, certainly did for Allen Lazard and others. They believe the media is twisting their words. They're taking comments out of context. That's what I believe. But let's see what happens. Should be interesting, nonetheless. And Lazard, let's give him his flowers. Come on, man. Lazard's been friggin' awesome this year. Absolutely terrific. When we pull up the old statistics for the season, our leading receiver is Allen Lazard. And he's doing it on far less targets. Garrett Wilson's been targeted 34 times. That's by far the most on the team. Yet he is second in receiving yards. Allen Lazard is first, 206 yards. Allen Lazard is first in touchdowns. He's third in receptions, but he's getting some big plays out of it, obviously, when you look at that average. So old Allen Lazard is making some plays. How about this? Allen Lazard has more yards after the catch than Garrett Wilson, 88-73. He has more first downs than Garrett Wilson, 13-11. So Allen Lazard is our number one wide receiver, and I'm going to be honest, did not have that on the bingo card. Absolutely did not have that on the bingo card. All right, you people are asking for it. I see it in the comments. Play the Boy Green Daily song for Hep. Okay, fine. I will succumb to peer pressure.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking just football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Wow. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch the Super Bowl season with Boy Green. Jets, Jets. Boy.
Hep, 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 baby. One of the best in the business. We love it. All right, let's just open up the phone lines early because it seems like people are a little feisty in the comment section. So you guys can call into the show in just a moment. Feel free to do so. I've just dropped the comment in the YouTube comment section. It is now the pinned comment on YouTube. If you'd like to call into the show, that is youtube.com/boygreen25. It seems like people are feisty and ready for conversation. Then please come on down, baby. I have an open platform. I don't censor people. Come on down. You guys want to have a conversation? Feel free. If you agree or disagree with what I say, that is a wonderful place to be. Again, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you must hop on over to youtube.com/boygreen25 for the full experience of being able to call into the show. That is the pinned comment on YouTube. I like it from Allen Lazard, to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know what version of Allen Lazard we were going to get this year. I thought obviously it would be better than last year. Not that that's saying much because Allen Lazard sucked last year. He was terrible. His attitude sucked. He dropped footballs. The leadership sucked. He didn't seem really plugged in. And again, I was unaware that his $44 million contract said, hey, I'm only going to play when Aaron Rodgers is playing. And if he's not, I'm going to throw a tantrum. Like, I didn't know that was in his contract. So putting that aside, that was last year. Who cares about last year? But who cares about last year? But that stuff still sort of bothered me for sure. But I'm glad that he's completely turned it around, which has been good to see. Zoink Nation. I love it. I love the alteration. Where is Malachi Corley? MIA is where Malachi Corley is. MIA. Seems like he's not picking things up. Coaches haven't said that publicly, I don't think, for the most part. But it seems like, to me, it's he's not picking things up very quickly. They're not even using him in the return game. I mean, he is cryogenically frozen right now. And outside of an injury, and then if you get Davante Adams, I mean, this dude is super buried. I don't know how he gets on the field, which is unfortunate because we're in a win-now season, and you'd hope for a guy you traded up for in the draft who would be someone that could be utilized in some form or fashion, but it just hasn't happened yet. And you would think that, like a guy like Malachi Corley, who kind of has a special skill set, Liam Neeson style, you would think that, a guy like that you could kind of orchestrate touches to. But in the same vein, if you have to orchestrate touches for him to get the ball, that has to be super specifically focused. Like the offense coordinator has to go out of his way to do that. Now, we can all say what we want about Hackett. And there's other players, if you just run your normal plays, they're going to be open by virtue, by nature. That does not seem like, at least at this stage, the calling card for one Malachi Corley. So Malachi Corley is MIA. Let's go to J-Boy, another member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Adams, Williams outside, Wilson in the slot. That has a chance to be crazy good. 100% it does. Mike Williams is looking friggin' awesome, man. And he's only getting healthier and more involved in the offense. I really, really love what I've seen from Mike Williams. We need to get him the ball more. Point blank. Every time we throw him a ball, he makes a play, man. He needs to get the rock. But yeah, imagine that 3 wide receiver set, and then you just have the depth of other guys to be able to go to, like Lazard. Lazard is your wide receiver 4, and he's playing as well as he is. That's a terrific problem to have. And I'd like to get Braylon Allen more involved. Another, I don't know if it's feisty. Well, let's get to that comment too, because tomorrow morning on the show, we're going to have a Vikings insider on the show. So we'll get to that in just a moment because I want to get to our legend Hep here on the program. But we will get to, Salah made some interesting comments about the Breece Hall, Braylon Allen thing. We'll get to that in a second. But let's go to the phone lines. We got Hep here on the show. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. How's it going?
Excellent.
The funny thing is, the other day I was on Facebook and I had seen it was a picture of Breece Hall and he had a towel over his head looking really, really down,
Mm-hmm.
So it just hit me because I was like, oh man, he's still a kid, really, compared to me, anyway. And so I just wrote. I said, keep your head up. When you do well, teams are going to plan against you, son. So just understand that. It wasn't your day today. It was Allen's day. They can't pick. They can't get both of you. So pick your poison. Who you gonna get. So don't worry. I said, just jet up and win. That's it. So it turned out Quincy
Yeah.
Williams liked. Yeah, I'm sorry. Quincy Williams liked what I said.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So Quincy Williams
Mm.
liked it, and then I liked Quincy Williams, and I became a friend of him. And then I was talking to. He started chatting back and forth with me. I kind of got Quincy Williams' ear a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
so cool.
Yeah. So I was talking to him. I said, Quincy,
Wow. Okay.
you have it in you to be one of the best linebackers in Jets history. I said, I've been here since 1967 watching the Jets. I've seen it all. I said, just play within yourself, keep the mistakes in check, and just run your race, man. Go for it. He's like, hey, thanks, man. So it's pretty cool. It just reminded me that these
Wow.
guys they're
That's
still kind
awesome.
of
That's
they're young
awesome.
guys. They're young guys still, and I know that as Jet fans, we pile on the minute something happens. We love them one week, we want to make them gods, and the next week we want to put them in the trash can. I think maybe what we got to do is
Yeah.
maybe if we flip that, when they do good, you say, hey, you know all that, and when they're down, say, hey, come on, guys, it's only a game. Let's do it. You know what I mean? It's not in our DNA. I know because we've been stepped on for so long.
Yeah.
But hey, the other thing's not working
Yeah.
so good, so why not? We'll give it
That's true.
give it a go. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you later.
Why not an audible at the line of scrimmage? I appreciate that, Hep. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a worthwhile thought. I would just say my advice to Brees Hall, if he ever asked for it, is it's a bad day at the office, man, and we all have them. But to me, the coaching staff could have helped a brother out, if we're being honest. They knew, we knew, my grandma knew it wasn't Brees Hall's best day at the office. So stop throwing him out there, making him feel even worse about himself. Like, oh, Brees, you're batting 1,000 from the goal line, which is something you're about to hear from Saleh as he pushes back to the media. The media's like, well, let me just stop saying what the media says. Here, listen to the clip yourself.
Consider integrating Braylon Allen more into the offense.
He's already been integrated. I mean, he's. I feel like he gets a lot of run every week.
So you with Brees, you think it was just one of those days, like an outlier?
Yeah, Brees was batting 1,000 in goal line situations this year, and he's been doing great in short yardage situations also. Give Denver credit. They were able to hold up.
Saleh. I love Saleh. I want Saleh to work. I want him to work. I'm a Saleh guy. Saleh, for the love of God, man. Well, Brees Hall was batting 1,000 in short yardage situations. Everyone knew the play was Braylon Allen, and it's nothing against Brees. They can both be good. Why in our society, here's me and my soapbox here, okay? Why in our society, when we build someone up, we have to tear someone down? Why is that? Why? Because some of us are saying, ooh, Braylon should get some run. We're like, Brees Hall sucks. Whoa, we're not saying that. We're not saying we don't have to tear him down. Why can't we lift both up? So have positivity, kind of stirring the positivity pot. Alliteration, positivity pot. Although that could have many meanings. Anywho, the point is, okay, people, the point is why do we have to tear someone down when we're building someone up? Why can't we build both up? Why can't, hey, Brees, it's not your day. Slide over Braylon Allen action. Let's celebrate Braylon. Let's not tear down Brees. But we kept tearing down Brees because the Jets coaching staff continued to put him in, and he failed. If they put in Braylon, he failed. Okay, then we could have a different conversation. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened, man. Come on, Saleh. He did that a little bit to himself. He and the Jets did that a little bit to themselves. Let's get a super chat in here. We had a historic amount of super chats yesterday, baby, which we appreciate. Every time I get a super chat, my daughter chimes in. Zariah Luna.
Wow.
DFF1234 says, trust Aaron, in all caps. Trust Aaron. Perhaps that's how he meant it to be delivered. Yeah, I trust Aaron Rodgers. I trust a pissed off Aaron Rodgers. Let's see how that is. He's quite familiar with the Minnesota Vikings. He's made London trips before. I kind of like this game, and we'll talk to insiders both today at 3 o'clock and tomorrow morning at 7:30. Two different Vikings insiders, and I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about this team. But this team looks pretty good. Perhaps the best team in football. But I do trust Aaron unequivocally. And the other thing I would trust if Saleh. So here's my perspective on life. Again, more soapbox stuff, I guess. We're 600 people in the room. We appreciate you. I don't claim to know everything, believe it or not. I don't know everything. But even if there's something I know, like the Jets, I wear this Jets hat. You see the Jet stuff all around. Shout out to Captain Jet with the boy green Jet hat up there. A couple of Jet books around, Jets helmet, sack exchange, and all this stuff in the room. We got some autograph stuff. Shout out to NY Jet Situation Report for some of the autograph merch I have back here. It's nice. Yeah, wonderful gifts from family and friends. I don't know everything about the Jets. Occasionally, I could have a take, and then new information can be provided, and I can change my take. Whoa, I thought this, but, based on that new information, I feel blah. That can happen. I wish the same could be said for Saleh, who almost is like, I don't care about the him versus the media thing. If that's going to motivate the team, awesome, use it. But the thing that I'm getting a little sidetracked on that I'm not perhaps fully understanding is like when people are asking Breece Hall questions, it's almost like Saleh defensive. Breece Hall's like the greatest sliced bread. Like, screw you guys. Hey, would you consider integrating Braylon Allen more into the offense, Coach? He's already integrated into the offense. Gets a lot of run every game. Next question. Like, come on, man. Like, you said after the game, yeah, we'll look into it for using Braylon Allen in short yardage situations. 2 days later, you say, yeah, Breece Hall was batting 1,000. He's going to keep, basically getting the rock. I'm paraphrasing. So you didn't think about – you said you were going to think about it. You didn't think about it, Saleh. You didn't. There's nothing wrong with Breece, but you can share the rock situationally speaking. Braylon Allen is bigger than Breece. That's science. Use the guy. That's physics. That's whatever you want to say it is. I don't know. This isn't school. Use Braylon Allen. Please. 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 That's the request. Use Braylon Allen. Use Breece. Use both. Use Breece in space. What happened to the screen game? Where's the screens, man? Well, Breece all in space. Little dump off. I'm seeing all these other teams in the NFL using. What about a screen every once in a while? For God's sakes. We're having all the pass protection issues we had against Denver. They have an aggressive front that blitzes all over the place. Why not a quick screen? Okay, here. Come on, pressure. Come on. Bloop. Right over the top. Big gash play with a screen. Come on, man. That's what I don't understand. Different strokes, different folks. Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Tim from Fishland here on the show. What's up, Tim?
Morning, Paul.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
How we doing today?
Hey, not too shabby. I woke up this morning.
Yeah. I just had a long day at work. I just got a text I was reading. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No problem.
But yeah, we're gonna learn a lot about this team this next 4 games. Okay, we can go 3-1 in the next 4 games. I think we'll be all right. But I honestly do think that Davante is needed without doubt. You just need somebody out there that knows Rodgers. That's more talented than Lazard. They need to get that trade done as soon as possible, in my opinion. Because I think didn't he come out during the summer and tell Shannon Sharp that if he were to go anywhere, it would be with Aaron.
He did say that. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. So.
God, I hope so. I mean, that should be another motivating factor again, unless you guys missed the beginning of the show. Ian Rappaport shared this morning at 5 a.m. that Davante Adams wants to play for the Jets, but he won't say Raiders trade me to the Jets or nowhere else, or I'm going to throw a fit. He included a bunch of teams apparently on his wish list. That list includes Saints, Steelers, Ravens, Bills, Cowboys, and the 49ers. And I would just say, boy, if the Bills or Ravens or Steelers, even for that matter, are anyone in the AFC, if those are legitimate places that he would consider, like, Jets, you need to also play some defense here. You cannot let Davante Adams go to the Buffalo Bills. He wants to play for the Jets. You just got to cross some T's and dot some I's and figure it out.
You see, the issue with that is that he's a timing player. Okay? And even with the Saints, first, the Saints don't have the cap. to do
They
it.
don't. They have like $3 million in cap space, so they do not.
But when you look at it, the Ravens are a run-heavy team, and I just don't see him getting a rapport or getting the type of numbers that he would get with, let's just say, the Jets or the Saints. You see what I mean? With those quarterbacks that he's played with, he needs a true pocket passer. You know what I mean? Like a team that, and like that's another thing. The Jets don't use a lot of motion, so. Garrett Wilson could sit there and say, "Oh, we need to change up the offense." No, you need to win your one-on-one. Like that's what it all comes down to, is that our offense is predicated on guys winning their one-on-one. Okay, because we don't do a lot of smoke and mirrors with the shifts and the pre-snap motion, all that type of stuff. Rodgers gets up there, he wants to look at it, diagnose it, make a couple adjustments, and boom. Okay, it's a very simplistic offense, but it's an offense that the savants run. Tom Brady used to do the same thing. Peyton Manning used to do the same thing. Okay, you just need guys on the outside that can win. All right, so and I think putting Garrett in the slot will help him out a lot. So, all right, Paul.
Because if you had Davante and Mike, Garrett, I imagine would be in the slot all the time. So yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, they would interchange Mike and Lazard back and forth, but I think Garrett would be perfect for Rodgers in the slot. He would definitely take on that Randall Cobb role.
There's definitely no doubt about that. Tim, thanks for the call, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for the call. Yeah, again, in a perfect world, you're thinking about that 3 wide receiver set. We were just talking about it a second ago. I mean, to have Mike Williams on the outside, his big ass. You have Davante Adams on the other side, and Garrett Wilson in the slot. And even a lot of those players are kind of versatile from the standpoint of where they can line up. But even that would be great. That would be terrific. And then you have Allen Lazard, who, like I said, is the leading receiver for the New York Jets. He has the most receiving yards. He has the most touchdowns. He has more yards after catching Garrett Wilson, which is crazy. That was supposed to be a superpower, Garrett Wilson. Allen Lazard is beating him in that category. I mean, Allen Lazard has been firing on all cylinders. Now, I'm a guy in life where you can evaluate things in 2 ways. So Garrett Wilson hasn't had a game yet. Breece Hall hasn't had a game yet. So either you could say to yourself, well, they're due. Like Garrett Wilson's due for this massive game at some point. Breece Hall is due for this massive game at some point. You could argue that. You could try to articulate that as a possibility. Or you could just say, well, it's not happening. To me, I'm leaning towards the positivity that, oh boy, not only is it possible, but it certainly could happen. And when is it going to happen? Well, we've been saying it for a few weeks. Oh, this is the week. No, this is the week. No, maybe this is the week. And there's just been a lot of that kind of speculation from that standpoint of whenever it is going to be good. And that I'm kind of curious about how it works out. I'm trying to see if I could get this. There's one video I want to grab you guys real quick from yesterday's press conference. It's Saleh on the penalties, and it's kind of interesting. And I don't want to do it justice by just trying to read it to you. Hopefully we can get it here to play in the middle of the show. That's one of the videos I do want to get in your guys' hands. But long story short, Robert Saleh was asked about the penalty issues, and obviously that has not just been a problem for 2024. This is a problem that has affected the Jets for many years, these penalty issues. And it's been under this Saleh reign, this Saleh regime of issues happening for the New York Jets. And Saleh is a certain type of individual that is not the type, and all Jet fans know this, that barks in players' faces very often. Again, he did it once when Will McDonald lined up off sides or technically in the neutral zone. When he did that for the second time in the game, like the cameras caught Saleh on the television broadcast for just a moment, ripping into Will, like, get your ass in the right position, man. Like, come on now. Get your butt in the right position here because, like you're hurting the team. This is basic stuff. What are we talking about here? Like, kind of get your crap together and figure it out, young man, of getting on the proper side. I mean, that's football fundamentals. It's the football basics one-on-one from that perspective of making sure he could just do the basic stuff that we're talking about here. That's lining up on the right side. And that's especially true when Will McDonald is like your only guy. He's got 5 sacks, and no other Jets player on the defensive side of the ball has well, let me rephrase that because I say that each week. Will McDonald, 5 sacks. Whoa, that's pretty good. Pressure's good. All that stuff's good. But then when you remove Will McDonald, go to the rest of the team, everyone else on the team has fewer than 2 sacks. So there's a massive gap there of like who's going to step up and be that guy. Yeah, I guess we could try it this way since it looks like we're having some issues with Twitter video downloaders. Instead, I'll present this on the screen for you guys to see the penalties. Okay, we got 700 people in the room. We appreciate you. Thanks for the support. This was Robert Saleh yesterday. He was asked about the penalty issues, and there's a few Q&As back and forth here. Let's roll it.
We'll continue doing the same things we've been doing. We show it, we talk about it. We address it when it happens in the practice field. And like I said, it hadn't been an issue with regards to pre-snap, and we're not concerned with it being an issue moving forward.
Do you still do what we saw in training camp where the guy jumps, he comes out?
Not during the season, but like I said, our pre-snap operation and our cadence system hadn't been an issue. Obviously, it wasn't good on Sunday, but I'm not worried about it.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there real quick, just in case you guys can't hear the Q&A. So what Saleh did in training camp was if a player jumped off sides, he said, get off the field. Like there was an accountability, like get your ass off. We're putting somebody else in, and that's what's happening. Saleh said they haven't and will not do that in the regular season. Here's more from Saleh.
Your experience, Robert, are things like laps or push-ups. We've seen coaches do that. And I think a lot of times growing up, you experience that from coaches at the lower levels of football. Does that have any effect in the NFL to deter penalties?
Depends on who you talk to. I personally know they're men. They want to be treated like men. They already know they messed up. They don't need to be embarrassed. They need to know how to correct it. And I don't think doing push-ups is teaching a guy how to correct it.
There you go. So Saleh's not a guy that is willing to humiliate players or get in their face or anything, and that's fine and dandy. Everyone is built differently. I'll tell you, back in my football days here, if we made a mistake, we ran what we call around here Lucy's. There's a big-ass hill here in town. I still live in the same town that I played high school in. We have this big-ass hill. It was right by the football field. It's this steep-ass incline hill. It's like the Jerry Rice montage Rocky videos where you're just running uphill, and it's a punishment. Like run these for like 10 minutes or whatever they said, like run 15 of these, run 20 of these, run however many of these. And that was punishment for making mistakes. And we're like, shit, we don't want to run Lucy's. We're not going to make a mistake. That was the motivation. Now that's high school football. This is the NFL, but that was an effective strategy. I don't care what it is for Saleh. He just needs to find an answer to the problem, whatever that answer is. If it's his way of doing whatever these are, the no yelling, then fine. I don't care how he does it. I think us as Jet fans care about the results. Something to look at. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got the legend himself. We got Ricky New York live here on the program. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
Oh, good, buddy.
Did you see like the Albert Breer thing from this morning?
Oh, this morning? Oh, no, let me check.
Maybe it was last night. I thought it was this morning though, where he said that the Bills and the Steelers would only trade for Davante if the Raiders paid his remaining salary, which they're not going to do.
Okay, so I missed that.
If that's true, that would effectively kind of effectively take them out. And New Orleans was willing to offer a fourth. However, it didn't say what we were offering. But he went on to say that many around the league feel that Davante Adams is going to try to engineer a trade to the Jets, is how he worded it. Which, hey, you know what? If, I guess it would be 30 other teams because it wouldn't be us or the Raiders. But if everybody else wants to believe that that's a foregone conclusion and just Nothing to see here, folks. Just go ahead, move along.
Yes.
That's fine with me. But yeah, being that if that's true and the Saints are only going to offer a fourth, well, hell, we're armed with an extra third round pick. Thank you, Joe Douglas. And yeah, so it looks like we're comfortably in the driver's seat as far as that goes.
And money, because we got like the NFLPA numbers a little lower than I saw on Over the Cap. Our Over the Cap had us 20 million plus, so I don't know what's the difference between Over the Cap and NFLPA. But either way, regardless of whether you believe it's a 15 million or the 20 million plus, the Jets are in a cap position to do it, and they're in a draft pick position to do it. And Davante wants to be a Jet, so you line up all those things.
Yeah, and he wants to be here. Malachi Corley probably wants them to be a Jet because that'll be a nice fat check to get that number 17.
That's right.
So, yeah, man, I think, at one point I was telling people, like, listen, shut up. The Davante to the Jets thing is a pipe dream. That's not realistic. However, as they say, things on the ground have changed. So now all of a sudden it does look like a real possibility. And I mean, granted, it's a very fluid situation.
Yes.
Things could change. But as it stands right now, I'd say it looks like about a 90% chance that he's going to be a Jet before the end of the year. And I am all for that. Like you said, with him and Williams on the outside, Garrett would just eat people up in the slot. And as far as Garrett, yeah, I think him and Brees, like their big games, they're coming. Those guys are too good. They're not going to stay quiet all year. And yeah, I'm not worried about it. People, overblowing some Garrett comments and stuff. I've said it before. He's not a diva. He's not one of those, but he is a competitor. And,
sure,
when things aren't going well or he's not performing to the best of his ability, you may see some frustration, but that doesn't mean, there's trouble in paradise. Just everybody needs to relax. It's fine. And, hopefully, and Grant and people saying like, oh, it's the Jets, they're going to do this or that, well, maybe so. And maybe last week was that they're talking about, and we got it out of the way and got it out of our system. If there's going to be a hiccup, good, give it to me in the first 3 or 4 games. Don't wait till the end of the year. So, any, rocky road that we may have to go, good, get it out of the way early in the season. That way at the end of the year, we're firing on all cylinders and we're ready to go. But that's pretty much all I got this morning. I just, from what I'm reading so far, it looks like we're firmly in the driver's seat for Davante, which makes me very happy.
Damn straight. Ricky, thanks for the call, brother.
All right, man. Have a great day, Paul.
All right, there he is, Ricky, baby. Throw up those gosh darn Ricky in New York emojis, baby. The best in the business. There he is. Booyah. One of my favorite emojis that Snowball has made. It's a terrific design. Quite nice. There you are. Ricky, New York, baby. You guys can light up the comments with those emojis. It's great to see for old Ricky. Yeah, a couple of things there. Yeah, that's also came out last night, early this morning on the Albert Breer stuff, where Davante Adams will try to engineer, not force. Yeah, he used the term engineer to try to see, because that's where he wants to go and he wants it to happen. But would Davante be willing to stomp his feet and try to make it happen? I don't know. It seems hard. But yeah, that's also a good point. Like, the Bills scare me, but they have no cap space. And they just got rid of a star wide receiver. Now they're going to go reverse course and go get one? I don't know. The Saints don't have money. The Bills don't have money. The Cowboys apparently already volunteered the information like yesterday that we're not going to do it. The 49ers, like, I know they tried to make other moves. That would be fascinating because the Raiders could keep him out of the AFC and push him to the NFC, which would probably be attractive from their standpoint. But how do they make that work? There's a lot of questions with some of that action, certainly. But yeah, I just and the Ravens, that scares the shiesta out of me. Derrick Henry, Davante Adams, Lamar Jackson. Good Lord, have mercy. Yeah. The Ravens are lacking a number one wide receiver. That would certainly answer that bell. That team would be incredibly scary with Davante. They're scary now. Put Davante Adams on them. Like, shoot. No, thank you. Also, I see our boy Chef Kevin Gilbert there in the comments section, and he's saying some truth. The Jets are a game out of first place in the AFC East, baby. The Bills travel to Houston, and then they travel to play the Jets. By the time that, either way, as long as the Jets handle their business, I guess it'll be guaranteed to be on the table. But there is supremacy for the AFC East potentially on the line in Week 6 Monday Night Football. Like, you got a chance to make some noise. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. Again, we have 800 people now in the room. We appreciate it. Like the video, hit subscribe, baby. Spread the good gospel. A Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show. And our favorite number one Austrian Jets fan. We see you down there as well, and everyone else that's in there. Let's go to KO here on the show. What's up, KO?
Hey, what's up, Paul? Good morning.
Yeah,
How
good to see you, pal. Or hear you.
Yeah, man. I've been meaning to call in,
Okay.
as far as, from that last blunder that just blew my whole mood for the week.
No, yeah. Yeah, that was terrible. Crappy.
That was, but everybody wants to sit there and say the weather. Both teams play in the same weather, so I'm not buying it. Yeah, you can tell that, for the kick, it kind of drifted because you could see it was a little windy, going that way.
The snap didn't look perfect either. So yeah, there was a variety of issues. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. But it's like, honestly, I love Garrett Wilson, but he has things that he really got to tighten up on, like simple communication. Like, Rodgers, he's going to put the ball where you need to be at because he's reading the coverage. And, as a receiver, you need to be able to read the coverage too and be on the same page, And, hold on. I just got the NFL alert saying Rays hope to trade Davante Adams to the Jets.
Wait, what?
I just got the alert. It says Justin Rays wide receiver Davante Adams hopes to be traded to the New York Jets, but it's open to other destinations. No other trade expected until.
Yeah. We heard that. Yeah. Oh, you
Yeah.
got me there for a second. That were about to break some news here on the show. It's like, oh, baby.
But
Okay.
I believe Garrett is the number one, but he still got things that he need to become more intact with, as far as being in a certain position in certain zone coverages, shade, outside a little more, go inside. It's little things that, it's fixable. And, nothing pisses me off more than the defense. Listen, they still we're number 5 in total defense, number 2 in scoring defense, but we suck against the run. We have to stop the run. We're 20th against the run. We had to do better. We have to tighten up because teams are gonna do that. Teams are gonna run the ball and feel that we're vulnerable against the run. We need to do better. Period. Bottom line, man. And I feel that if we're gonna be this team that everybody think that we're gonna be, we need to do better. The false starts is blowing my mind. No, what are you jumping for? We're in our own end zone. What are we jumping for? From Simpson, Tyron Smith, like what is the problem?
Ridiculous.
And honestly, man, and I was never a fan of John Franklin Myers getting let go. I love John Franklin Myers. He earned his way. A guy I felt that was a glue guy that we should have kept. Had a big game against us. Big game against us. Sack. He's where he need to be, blowing up the run. It's just it's frustrating as a fan because I'm looking at management what do you guys be looking at? Like, I really be confused for the life of me. You got guys in penitentiaries that know better. Like, no, we're gonna keep this guy right here. I want to put him right here. Like, come on, like, it's common sense. Common sense. The guys that mold together and gel together, you keep them together. You don't just disperse them. You don't do that. As a GM, especially Joe Douglas, the guy was around, winning for teams, the Baltimore Ravens for years. He was around the Philadelphia Eagles. He was the person that recruiting there. So I was like, come on, bro. You should know better. And I kind of feel sometimes that's where he get in trouble at, because even with the Hassan Reddick, situation,
Mm-hmm.
Honestly speaking, we didn't need Hassan Reddick. That's how I feel. We didn't need Hassan Reddick. Starting to show we need him a little, but I think honestly that we can still get it done with that. If he wants to sit there and be an idiot and hold out and think he got one over us, cool. That's making more room for somebody else to step up and be a big time contributor for us. Brees Hall, I don't know what's going on with him. Normally the guy runs through about 3 tackles. He's the guy that normally fall forward and get 2 or 3 yards. I don't know. I didn't know what was on. He's slipping in the backfield. We
Yep.
shot ourselves in the foot, and then even I didn't like the penalty with on Allen Lazard. Like, come on, you mean to tell me
I
because
know.
like that was BS. That was just the ref being a clown. Because there's no way that every receiver signal first down, point to the end zone. Like
Right.
why are we getting flagged? Because he did it because it's the New York team, it's the Jets. I'm
Yeah.
confused. Every receiver does it, so I kind of
Silly.
felt that shot us in the foot too because we were in field goal range. The less we should have got was a field goal,
Sure.
if anything, and we got to cash in. We get in red zone. That's a must because teams like Kansas City, teams like Miami, even though I don't want to hear it, Buff, those guys cash in when they get into the red zone. Hackett is sorry. I'm sorry. I hate he sucks. Hackett is sorry. I'm so like he's so predictable. You can't go run, and then throw on the obvious passes in.
Yeah.
Mix it up. Listen. I don't care if you come out first play of the drive and you throw the ball downfield and it's incomplete. At least it's going to play in the defense mind. Like, you know what? All right, they willing to try us downfield. They're willing take that chance downfield. Like loosen it up. There's no way I think the first couple games of the season, the first play of the game, he runs the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, man. And we really got Salah got out coached. I don't know what's going on in that brain of his. I don't know. He needs to do better. He really do, man. Like because Sean Payne is a offensive guru too. He's a good coach when
Well, they got another test against the Vikings. You got Kevin O'Connell is a great offensive play caller. You got Brian Flores who's a really
exactly.
good defender, man.
Hold on,
You got to
wait,
be on your P's
and,
and Q's.
listen, and shout out to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's
Oh
looking
yeah,
like
he's been killing it. He's leading the league in
he
passing touchdowns right now, for Pete's sake.
exactly, and I feel like when it comes to us, developing a quarterback and doing things, we fail them. We do. Call a spade, we fail them. Because no way, because even when Sam Darnold was here, when he had a reliable target to throw to, like in Robbie Anderson, he had guys to throw to. He was looking good, but then it's like they when that Gates, I don't know why they brought Adam Gates in like that. For the life of me, I was confused when they brought him in and he just started, letting guys go and sending guys on their way. It's like it made zero sense.
It did make sense, and I will say this: that Sam Darnold, to his credit, he was, not teed off. What's the word I'm looking for? Like he was kind of set up. Someone threw like a softball. Like, oh man, do you think the Jets effed you like during your time there? And he said, no, man, I had plenty of opportunities, and I should have capitalized on them. So, like, Sam Darnold's always been a good kid. So you love hearing answers like that. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We got NY Jets FL here on the show. What's up, buddy?
Paul, good morning. Sam Darnold, no one has 10 years to wait for him to, find himself, just like Baker Mayfield. I mean, we can't wait forever to find out what he is.
Right.
Paul, I'm still upset over the loss, quite honestly. And I'm expecting a good performance because I see the players finally getting pissed off. Okay, and showing it, and the coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Heat, everything's been turned up way, like, let's just say we're almost to a boil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, their seasons, next 2 or 3 games is going to make or break their season, right? So every player has to look in the mirror. Tyron Smith, Garrett, Brees, all the players that had these ridiculous penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a game? Can we have a clean game for once? Like, under 50 yards. How about under 50 yards? As long as it's not 100. I just that trend has to stop, but I don't know if it will. It's just very frustrating as a fan to watch every week and have these, all these ridiculous, celebration penalties and with the guns, and I don't think I'll ever get over this loss, Paul. I
I
really
don't think I
won't.
will either, by the way, not that you need my blessing for this, but it's okay. That loss friggin' sucked. It stung. I'm going to look back, no matter what the Jets are. Let's say, I don't know what they're 2-2. Well, if they're 15-2, I'm going to be like, damn it, they should have been 16-1 because they lost that beep, 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 beep game. I'm going to be thinking about that the entire time. So, yeah, hopefully, again, a good way to wash the taste out of your mouth is by upsetting. You gave away one that a lot of people thought you were going to have. A lot of people said Broncos win, okay, and that's a loss. A lot of people right now, I'm seeing all the predictions, from the NFL.coms, ESPNs are like, oh, Vikings, 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 Vikings. So everyone's riding in the Vikings. If you beat them, whoa, okay, that was a loss people thought you had. Now that's a win. Now you flip back the gods. So they have an opportunity to do that on Sunday.
Going blind driving in the sun here.
I see that, yeah.
Paul, it's only a 3-point. It's only a 3-point. I know it's gambling for gambling purposes.
Yeah, it's
but
a little
it's only a
surprising,
3-point
to be
spread.
honest. I thought they'd have.
So,
I thought the Vikings, if I had to guess, would have been favored by 4.5, 5.5. That would have been my guess.
I gotcha. I said it a few times already on several calls that I think Denver's defense is going to be like a top 5 defense. So
Yeah, maybe we'll look back at that differently, right? Maybe, sure.
Can Hackett? Okay, I'm going to call this one on Hackett this week. I can't blame Salah. Okay, Sackett. Sackett. Well, maybe it is Sackett. Hackett. Yeah, literally. Hackett. Okay, if something is not working, okay,
yeah,
you can stay with the run. You're not going to give that up, okay? But if you're going to get like Denver almost knew what the Jets were going to do. They were run blitzing. They had people in coverage for the short passes. I mean, the weather was an issue too. But the Vikings blitz a lot. So how do you beat the blitz, right? You run at them.
Yeah.
Or you have to max protect a lot and have a couple receiver routes. That's what you have to do.
Of course,
and
right.
You have to, so I want to see Hackett game plan not be the same beat bullshit that we've seen, where if something is not working, go 4 wides and let them try to defend it. Rodgers get the ball out in 3 seconds. I know he's not. You don't want him back there a lot trying that, especially if he's hurt. Or I think he's hurt. He's banged up. Let's just say that. But you can't keep.
Yeah,
letting him
right.
get hit.
That's a better way to put it.
Spread the ball out for try a double reverse. I mean, Paul, I was waiting last week for a fake punt. I forgot to mention that. I was waiting for something to spark something. You could tell like we needed a spark after the turnover, right? Everything was kind of closing in on us. I was waiting for a fake punt. Just something to change the momentum of the game.
Just
we needed
spark,
something.
right? Yeah.
Anyway,
100%.
What day is it today?
100%. I agree. I was waiting for something. Today is Thursday.
All right. So we're waiting. Okay. So at least I'm good. I've been working a lot last few days. So, all right, Paul, appreciate your time. I'm sure you got other things to attend
well,
to.
before you hang up, I was trying to see if I could also get it on the screen at the same time. We have a few people asking. Jerby says, Paul, ask Ted what the fuck he was wearing yesterday. So what was that? You had your neck covered, the majority of your face, and then we could just see your eyes. And I was a little caught off guard, but I wasn't quite sure. So what was going on there?
So, okay. So I work outside in the sun a lot, trying to protect myself. It's a sunblock shirt, right, with a hood on it.
Oh.
Right. It's like a fishing.
Okay.
It's like a fishing. A shirt you take fishing, right? But it's got a hood on it, because trying to protect my skin. You know what I mean? I'm 59, but still I don't want to get skin cancer. So I'm trying to stay covered up as much as possible.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
okay,
it's
I
just
did not know that. I've never seen one of those before. Okay.
Yeah. So you got these like sunblock SPF shirts, and they have the hoodie. They have like a hoodie on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wear a hat, glasses, and I unfortunately have to wear shorts or I'll die in the heat. But
Right.
just trying to protect. There's a fine line between protecting yourself and living out in this heat. So I'd rather live
Yeah.
than die. But
Okay.
that's just how it is. But I appreciate the
Well,
concern. I wasn't.
yeah.
I
A lot
wasn't.
of people were asking.
Doing any kind of voodoo, or maybe it's a voodoo outfit where I can do some voodoo on the Jets and get them to. I could sacrifice something.
Hey,
Just
it seems like every year to have any success, we have to sacrifice something. So I don't know why the gods have made that a thing, but I'm hoping that won't be necessary this year. But no, we're glad. We'd rather you alive than dead, Ted. So yes, we're on
Paul.
board. You bet.
Thanks for
Thanks for calling in, brother. That was great. Yeah, I did find it over here, but it's the video's choppy, so you guys won't get the full effect, I'm afraid, of yesterday on the show. But if you just go to the end of yesterday's live show, you can see what Ted was wearing at around the hour 25 mark. We were on for quite some time yesterday, so you guys can check that out if you'd like. If you'd like the visual of that for Ted, but we're just glad that he was protecting himself. That's most important. All right, back to the phone lines. We got Easy here on the show. What's up, Easy?
Hey, how you doing, Paul?
Excellent.
I might hit that dead zone. You always seem to call me right in this section of highway. Anyway, I'll make it brief.
Sure.
I was accepted as a friend for Hassan Reddick on Messenger or Facebook or something.
Nice.
So I'm wondering, what should I say to him?
Oh boy. You got to think long and hard about this, Easy.
I'm just going to give him, I think what I'm going to do is give him a little bit of friendly advice. I'm going to say, listen, I make about $50,000 a year. I'd kill to make what you make. You're a young man. Time's running out. Just go and play and enjoy your life, and don't worry about the money, right, for this year. And just play. Just play.
I like that. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. So yeah, feel free. Yeah.
No, I mean, you could put me in bubble wrap out on a field and let me get killed for $1 million a year. I mean, I don't care. So my knee would get twisted up. The team would pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see my team fucking win before I die. I'm 63. Time is short.
Very fair. Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a fair request, I think.
Look at all this traffic. It's bullshit. Every friggin' morning.
Oh
well.
Wow.
It gives me a chance to connect with my inner hatred. But what do you think
true.
of?
That's true.
So what do you think is going to happen with this Davante Adams?
My gut tells me that, as we've all said for months, that he's going to be a Jet. Now, I'm going to be honest, there is a little and this is unlike me because I'm normally this, again, glass half full.
Because I think he could be a Saint, too.
I don't think of anything negative. Yeah, that's. I don't know about the Saints because of their cap situation, so they'd have to do some backflips. But someone, maybe some dark horse we're not talking about, or someone, because of the Tyreek Hill thing, obviously, we saw that it was Jets or this, and there was no dark horse team in that situation, but the Dolphins just landed him. So we got all the way to the goal line. It looked like it's possible. It could it's not going to happen. So, this all sets up. But, boy, I'm just I've got a little voice in the back of my head that maybe another team swoops in, so I just hope that the Jets land him. And I feel like he will.
Well, remember one thing. Joe Douglas is our GM. And Joe Douglas always pulls something out of left field that we have no clue what he's going to do. And it's usually like, holy shit, I never thought of that.
Right, that's true. Morgan Moses is a great example this offseason.
Yeah, I mean,
never thought he was even an option.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really good at finding people that nobody would expect. Like, there's probably some disgruntled guy on some team somewhere that is more than happy to just come here.
Right. If they missed out, for instance, if they missed out on Davante Adams, Amari Cooper is one of those disgruntled, really talented guys that would make sense.
Yeah. Who else is kind of on the blocks?
I saw someone in the comments say
right
Tyreek
now.
Hill, but
I'm not
again,
in tune with all the stuff that's going on.
yeah, someone in the comment section just said Tyreek Hill, but again, similar to the Davante Adams thing, the Raiders, it would be a cold day in hell if they ever traded him to the Chiefs, regardless of what the price point was. Same thing for the Dolphins. Even if they totally implode here, there's zero chance if they decide to trade Tyreek Hill would they trade him to the Jets. So like that one I eliminate, but like a couple of names.
Oh
like
yeah.
that,
They're not going to give him to us because
definitely not.
Because if Tua comes back, they'll think they're going to be good next year, or Tua could come back and turn their season around. They're not.
Right,
They're not
or
getting
they
rid of any. They're not getting rid of Waddle either.
Right, they're going to try to trade for a quarterback rather than blow up the team, I think. So,
Here's the other thing that I wanted to mention. I mean, this whole thing that we're talking about, these quarterbacks, where it took 5 to 7 years for them to finally develop, like Darnold and Baker Mayfield and all these guys.
Sure.
That's what usually happens. That's what used to happen in the 60s and 70s and 80s. That's how it was. You sat for 3-4 years. You didn't even touch a football on the field. We're talking some of these legendary guys. I mean, now in '81 when we had that really big draft class with Marino and Elway and all that shit.
Yeah, that was
83. Oh, 83, yeah. 83. That's when it started because everyone struck gold in 1983, and then everyone says, "Oh, well, this is the new way to do it," and it was never that way to do it before then. So,
okay.
So I think that this whole thing with this kid that we got now from Florida State, give him 2-3 years for his leg to heal up and just sit and work it out because he could be good. Because Florida State's nothing without this kid.
Clearly,
I mean,
not.
They're horrible. They're horrible without him.
Will he be the long-term quarterback? I don't know. Will he be the long-term backup? I don't know. But like, if either of those things happen, it's a great deal. So yeah, why not?
Green Bay did it the right way. I mean, they did it with Favre. He sat for a while, because Favre's first couple of years with Atlanta, he sucked.
Yeah,
people forget that.
Yeah,
he was drafted by the Falcons, and it took about 4 or 5 years for him to really get good. All these guys, I mean, think of all these guys that played. Jim Kelly, he was in USFL for a while, and then when he went to Buffalo, he was ready. Excuse me.
That is true for what that turned out to be. The only thing I'll add here is Brett Favre only played 1 year for the Falcons as a rookie, and then he was traded in 1992 to the Packers. And there was the first 2 years where he had 18 touchdowns, 13 picks, 19 touchdowns, 24 picks, which led the league in that category. And then he just took off for the moon. So yeah, it did take him a few years, not 4 or 5. It didn't take him that long, but he played the 1 year for Atlanta, wasn't great. Had no touchdowns, 2 picks. He only appeared in 2 games. Got traded to Green Bay in 1992. Had a middling season. The next year, middling season, a lot of interceptions. Then he just took off for the races. He had 33 touchdowns, 14 picks, then 38-13, 39-13, 35-16. Like, he just took over the world in the mid-90s. And those were Pro Bowls. Those were MVPs. And he just went to the barnyard, which was pretty crazy. Absolutely. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. You got Joe the Jet here on the show. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Ball Boy Green. I just want to talk about this weird situation that's going on with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, and I kind of want to give my own explanation of it a little bit. So back in 2022, the Green Bay Packers drafted a wide receiver named Christian Watson. And this was after when Davante Adams was traded away to the Raiders. So immediately Rodgers and Watson, they couldn't connect. They couldn't connect. Some people were saying in Green Bay, okay, is Christian Watson a bust? Is Aaron Rodgers getting old? Does he need exclusively Davante Adams to be good? And it took up until week 10. And I believe they played the Cowboys that 1 week, and that connection between Rodgers and Christian Watson was on. It was immediately on. They were getting on the same page. It took a while, but they finally got on the same page. So that's my theory on that sort of situation. I do think it's going to take a while for Garrett Wilson and Rodgers to get on the same page. but I think it's going to be similarly to how Christian Watson and Rodgers sort of it took a while to get sort of on that sort of level. But I do think trading for Davante Adams would pay huge dividends and sort of give him a little bit of insurance to wait longer for Garrett Wilson to catch up with the offense and catch up with what Rodgers is trying to do. So I really do think trading for Davante would be a big deal for this offense, honestly.
No doubt. The only thing I hope is, like, for the love of God, I hope it doesn't take 2.5 months for Garrett Wilson, which is what week 10-ish would be. We're talking about, 10 games into the season. I hope it does not take that long for old Garrett. But no, I get kind of what you're saying, that, and Allen Lazard said it yesterday at his presser. Davante Adams said it this week with Kay Adams, that there's no way to simulate the live bullets, to get the chemistry and everything else that's included. Like, that is only built with games. So hopefully we could get it sooner rather than later. But I like the call, Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Boy Green. It's been.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, sorry, I think your phone was cutting out there. Go ahead, Joe. What was your final comment? Go ahead.
So I got one more thing.
Oh, sure. Okay.
One more thing before I go. So I heard a lot of things that a lot of fans are a little upset with Garrett, and then a lot of people are like saying like, oh, we should trade Garrett to the Raiders, and I'm at that point I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, those are idiots. Let's just say that for all the Raiders fans said, sure, we'll trade you, Davante. We'll take Garrett Wilson and change. I'm like, excuse me?
No.
Zero chance.
Like, why would we trade a wide receiver in his prime for a wide receiver that's 32? Like,
for a Garrett Wilson who's on his rookie contract, for Davante Adams who's on a reasonable deal for this year, but next year and the year after are absolutely disgusting. Why in God's green earth will we do that? Ridiculous.
Yeah, it just kills me, man. It kills me. And you know what? It's just it's par for the course. I mean, if we were giving up Garrett Wilson, okay, we'll take Max Crosby off your hands as well.
Right.
If that's
right,
the case.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, that's not going to happen. We're getting. I am very, very confident we will get Davante Adams, unless crazier stuff happens in the next few days where the Raiders might say, "Hey, we want to trade him to a different conference, to a different conference."
Right.
That's the one thing that's sort of worrisome, but I don't think that's very likely. Honestly, I think they want to get him out of there as soon as possible. So.
I do too, because I think it'd just be awkward otherwise, Joe, but I appreciate the call. I think it'd just be weird otherwise. Davante obviously does not want to be there, and the Raiders are trying to do their own thing. It doesn't help to just keep Davante just kind of hanging around as a guy who does not want to play for you. I don't think that's good for business, but good call. I didn't think about the Christian Watson effect, but that makes a lot of sense. All right, let's get one more caller in before we sign off the show. It's our cigar smoking Neil Sr. joining us here on the show. What's up, Neil? Good morning.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Not bad.
Couple things. Ed's 63, I'm 63, Ted's 59. Look, we've been long suffering Jet fans.
Sure.
And our takes are, you could take them to the bank because we've seen more than you guys will ever see on that field. One thing I want to mention, and about what I want to see coming up on Sunday, and what we didn't do in the Denver game. When you have a team that's blitz heavy, okay, you use the screen game to offset the blitz, okay? And preseason, we had nice wide receiver screens. You got tight end screens. You got all kinds of screen passes that offset a blitz. And we have a quarterback now that could sell a screen and could complete a screen. We never had a quarterback that could do that. That's why we never threw screen passes, because they took too long to develop and they were too easy to read. With Aaron, you can line, Garrett up in the corner. He takes the ball and fires it at him. And then you got Lazard to go block, or whoever it is, come block. And it's like a running play. You pick up 5. You pick up 10. Sometimes the guy will miss and you'll break one for 15 or 20 yards. Once that happens, the defense has to spread out now, and they can't blitz. And that's when you could hit them over the top and start doing some things. Now, Uncle Tio said it yesterday, and I think this is very, very important. This team is dead. Vikings dead last in pass defense. Now we got to go out there and attack them with the short stuff, medium range stuff. Get the passing game established. Once we do that, then we could start grounding and pounding and moving the ball. Okay. Now we don't know after 4 games. Let's be real. We don't know what teams have the top defense. We won't know till the end of the year.
Sure.
We
That's
won't
true.
know who the top offenses are. And the Vikings are 4-0. Look, when we had Brett Favre in that we started 8-3, and the biggest game
10
we
and 0
took was
Titans.
there. You go. All right. I'm not scared by Minnesota. Let's face it. It's Sam Darnold. Who are we talking about here? This is Sam Darnold against Aaron Rodgers, who is played just 2 games ago. One of the best games we ever saw a quarterback play in my lifetime. So let's pump the brakes on last week. Okay, we got out schemed. Hackett got taken to the woodshed. He did his usual predictable crap, and we're going to be fine. Now, as far as Davante Adams goes, when I looked at this thing yesterday and I heard that their asking price is too high, it goes back. Look, JD's a great evaluator of talent, no question. Good scouting team. But when it comes to opening the pocketbook, he looks like my cheap neighbor who has spider webs in his wallet, okay? He is a Walmart buyer in a champagne market. You have to spend on a Super Bowl winning year like you're never going to have another year again. When you look at the good
Right.
teams that won a Super Bowl with Tampa, with the Rams, okay? What did they do, Paul? They went in there and they
All in.
overspent.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we
Yeah.
waiting
You could
for?
argue that
What?
definitely.
What are we going to do? Wait 2 more weeks and get him for a little bit less? Look, throw the draft board at him. If we're going to be good this year, what the hell is the second round pick going to be? Hopefully it's 64. So it doesn't really matter. And we got 2 threes. Throw some more draft
Exactly.
capital at him and let's get a deal done already. I mean, enough. It's bad enough that I got to sit here and eat my stomach out with Reddick, one of the best pass rushers in the game, who's a closer, and I watch Pittsburgh with Watt. I watch Detroit with Hutchinson. I watch all Khalil Mack and the Chargers. These guys are essential parts of a team.
Yeah, right.
You cannot win a Super Bowl without an edge rusher. I don't give a shit who it is. Okay. And not only do we not have an edge rusher, we're undersized on the defensive line. Teams are able to run on us, but you got to take into effect that we are running out of games. My message to Joe D is stop the bullshit. Get in Davante. He wants to come here. Okay. What are you going to do? Oh, Joe Douglas, he really wants to come here. So let's offer the Raiders something crappy. Look, the Ravens are on a win now. Everybody on Get Up yesterday was talking about every team that's probable to get Davante Adams. And they didn't even say the Jets. Okay. Do you know why? Because these other teams are willing to spend money. And they are organizations that spend that money. And we have proven time and time again, year and year again, it's not this is our Super Bowl. Where's the money? Where's the money spent? We still have the cheap offensive line. We didn't sign any big time $40, $50 million offensive linemen. We have room on the team for Reddick. We have room on the team for Davante. Not just for this year. We could get him to keep him next year. We still have Garrett on a rookie contract. The other thing I want to see, and they're talking about Corley maybe being in this
That's
deal.
true.
Look, I don't want to.
Sure.
How are we going to lose Corley? We haven't even seen the guy yet.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, give him Gibson. I'll be
right.
honest with
I
you.
don't know
I
if
think
I'd be for that.
yeah, Gibson to me, if I have a choice between Corley and Gibson, I've seen enough of Gibson. Okay, he's decent. He's kind of gutsy on the punt returns. I was watching him in practice pregame because I'm a season ticket holder. I'm watching him, right, Paul? He's dropped passes are going through his hand on drills. Like his wet hands were not able to hold the ball. Okay, that's on pregame. So you know the guy has a problem. And what did he do? He dropped the pass right, through his hands. He's not doing the back shoulder and the things that Rodgers is expecting him to do. We don't need brainiacs. We have the guys that work with Rodgers. Lazard, Garrett's going to work with Rodgers. Let's face it. They have a chemistry. Okay, they had a bad game. He's been doubled over the top. We've had the top. One thing is for sure. Okay, we faced in this 4 games at least 3 of the best corners in the game right now. So that's a fact. I mean, I don't care about what the teams look like, but he's been covered by the best. He's not going to get that this week. Okay, so we're going to be fine. Garrett's going to get the ball. Lazard's going to get the ball. Use Corley on these screens. He's the yak. What is he called again? The mini yak. What is it? What do they call him, Paul?
He is called the Yak King. And also, the thing I would like to see is let's get Corley on the kick returns. Then let's figure out a way to utilize him there. That would be good to see. By the way, this chest coming in from Diana Rossini, and then we'll wrap up the show here because I got to run to the radio station. But this is from Diana Rossini, and I just don't understand this. So here's from Diana Rossini. I'll throw it up on the screen here. Here's her tweet. Here's her tweet on this the latest in the Davante Adams situation. Teams like Buffalo and Kansas City are all monitoring the situation, are more likely to get involved if the Raiders are willing to take on some of the money per sources. I just don't understand why we're talking about the Chiefs. There is a 0% chance the Raiders are trading him to the Chiefs. But if the percentage was anything beyond 0, Kansas City would have to eat the entire contract, and they'd have to give up like 10 first-round picks for the Raiders to even think about trading him to the Chiefs. So why would the Raiders eat money to give him to a division rival? That makes 0 sense whatsoever. Absolutely 0 sense. He's not going to the Chiefs. Now, can he go to some of these other teams? Maybe. The Bills, they also don't have money, so I don't see that. Why would the Raiders eat the money? That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. So I think that eliminates some of those kind of teams. Ricky New York talked about it earlier. That makes no sense. There is no if I can't wait to do some sort of a weird thing if Davante Adams is a Chief, because I will. I don't even know what I would do. That is just not going to happen. There's a 0% chance that happens. So get the hell out of here. Does it make sense in Madden video game? Of course it does. There's no way. I see you, Alan, saying KC is getting DA. Boy Green, whatever the Chiefs want, they get. No, they don't. Unless they've developed mind control here, there's no friggin' way. There is no way. 0 chance. 0 chance. That is absolutely not going to happen. Could he go to the Saints or something? The NFC? Okay, maybe. There's no way in hell. No way in hell. Anywho, thanks to the 900 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We are so close. We're on the doorstep of 7,000 subscribers. When we started the show, we're like 15 subscribers away. So if you guys enjoy the content, we're live every single day. It gets delivered right to you at 7:30 in the morning. And on some days, we're live multiple times a day. Like today at 3 o'clock, we're having a Vikings insider on the show to help preview the matchup. Hopefully, you guys can check that out again live coming up at 3 o'clock. I got to run to the radio show to do my other job, and then I'll come back here to do that Viking show at 3 o'clock. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Enjoy it, and hopefully sooner rather than later, Davante Adams is a Jet. Let's frickin' go, baby. Jets, 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 Jets.